It's not a dream, it's our current destination. But when our story was started, let's quickly go back to history. Before more than 1,000 years, the Al-Yamama region became neglected. The region lived within the folds of obscurity for hundreds of years. Until 1727, when Imam Muhammad bin Saud established the first Saudi state in Dir'iyah. Dir'iyah, the capital of the first Saudi state, lies in the center of the Arabian Peninsula. This region occupies a large area of the peninsula, stretching more than 1,000 kilometers from north to south and 500 kilometers from east to west. Those studying the city-state of Dir'iyah will notice that it expanded and contracted according to the political stability terrain. Imam Muhammad bin Saud understood all of these fluctuations and issues that had risen over time, and thanks to God and then to his own genius, he transitioned the city-state of Dir'iyah into a fully fledged state, which historians now call the first Saudi state. Imam Muhammad bin Saud was born in the year 1679. He was raised in Dir'iyah and benefited from working alongside his father from a young age, arranging the affairs of the emirate and gaining complete knowledge over all its affairs. Imam Muhammad bin Saud had learned politics and methods for dealing with neighboring emirates and itinerant tribes, and he had a great impact on maintaining conditions within the emirate before he assumed command. At the same time, the Imam was blessed with perspicacity and insight. He studied the situation that his and other emirates had gone through, especially those emirates around him, but also the emirates of the Central Arabian Peninsula in general. From the day of his ascension, he began planning to change the prevailing status quo, laying down a new path in the region's history toward unity, education, the spread of culture, enhanced communication between members of society, and enduring security. He has the greatest achievements during his leadership. Imam Muhammad bin Saud passed away in the year 1765 after 40 years of leadership and the foundation of the state. If men had a steering role on the battlefields outside the walls, it was women who played the greatest role in building society within them. The first Saudi state took care to support women, as Imam Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad was keen that women's needs and issues, especially those of widows, were brought before him. If prices rose, he would pay them a stipend so that they could meet their daily needs. If a man died, Imam Abdul Aziz would grant his family a financial allowance to be paid out to them regularly, which we could call it in these days a social security. Women were brought up in Dir'iyah, and they in turn raised their children to value courage, which was a source of pride for them. One of the most notable customs and traditions among men and women was generosity. Imam Muhammad bin Saud built an education in which men and women were taught in the morning and evening. The Imams after Imam Muhammad ibn Saud continued to educate the public in the same way. Imam Abdul Aziz built a complex around the Al-Bujayri Mosque, in which he set aside a section for women, where jurists could teach. Some of the women of Dir'iyah learned to read and write, became prominent in intellectual fields, and mastered calligraphy. At that time, the economic situation of women in Dir'iyah centered around meeting their families' needs and providing necessities, although there were industries and occupations performed by men and agricultural products that contributed to economic and commercial prosperity locally and abroad, such as producing guns and other weapons embellished with gold and silver, and the sale in the market of dates, milk, handicrafts, leather, cotton and woolen textiles and clothes, among others. Each region differed in its architectural designs based on its environment. People living in the Arabian Peninsula took account of the environment in which they lived. So the majority of houses during the era of the first Saudi state were built of clay due to its abundance in the area, clay being a commonly used material in Arab construction. In addition, they made use of whatever rocks and plants were available in the surrounding environment. The history of Saudi Arabia is the first Saudi state between 1727 to 1818, the second Saudi state between 1824 to 1891, the third Saudi state from 1902 to the present by King Abdul Aziz bin Abdul Rahman Al Saud. In 1902, King Abdul Aziz began his quest for a kingdom with a vision for his country to be a nation. In 1932, King Abdul Aziz united all areas in Arabian Peninsula under the name of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The oil was first struck in Saudi Arabia in March 1938. In November 1953, King Abdul Aziz passed away. Following his sons, Saudi Arabia was continuing developing the country. Saudi Arabia is recognized as an icon of leadership in the Arab and Muslim worlds and reformed the path-breaking policies in recent times. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has emerged as one of the largest donor countries around the world. In April 2016, King Salman approved a plan for far-reaching reforms to diversify the economy and continuing developing the country, in according to its Vision 2030. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman announced Vision 2030 in 3 pillars: a vibrant society, a thriving economy, and an ambitious nation. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has witnessed a great deal of progress in many fields such as education, health, and a great deal of reform in the legal system to ensure fairness and good governance. Saudi Arabia announced the establishment of the Green Initiative Foundation. This was a commitment to the 2 climate initiatives that are worth $10.4 billion. Saudi Arabia is aiming at restoring, conserving, and sustainably managing about 1 hectare of land by 2040. This is a collaboration with the Net Zero Plan, which the Kingdom has said will rapidly expand the already substantial investment in renewable energy. By 2030, the Kingdom is aiming for about 50% of the energy generated to come from renewable and clean resources. The future of work, living, and sustainability is coming to life. The master plan is being realized more every day. A project unique in scale is already being built in a place with 95% of land protected for nature. Our luxury island destination Sindala has launched, as has Trojena, our mountain destination. The Line, our flagship city, and our center for advanced industries, Oxygen. Things are changing fast. In 2022, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia launched companies including Tonomus, our world-leading tech and digital enterprise, and Inoa, responsible for managing NEOM's first-class sustainable energy and water systems, featuring the world's largest green hydrogen production plant. Volocopter, the next generation of transport. The giant cube-shaped skyscraper, the Muka'ab, is the world's first immersive, experiential destination at a scale that unprecedented, big enough to the size of 20 Empire State Buildings. The Muka'ab will include a museum, a technology and design university, and a multi-purpose theater. It will be at the center of New Murabba, the futuristic metropolis in Riyadh. This is briefly our story of 3 centuries, and this is our destination in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.